In the early 19th century, America was undergoing a profound transformation, a time when the rigid structures of colonial-era religious formalism began to give way to the raw, chaotic energy of frontier spiritual movements. In the established settlements and traditional churches of the older colonies, religion was often filtered through the lens of intellect. Stiff wooden pews lined the sanctuaries in precise rows, a visual testament to order and discipline, where every congregant was guided through formal rituals, readings in Latin or Greek, and the theological expertise of ordained ministers. These spaces, while stately and solemn, often lacked the vitality of human emotion. They emphasized doctrine, ritual, and strict compliance, which frequently made spiritual experience distant, abstract, and mechanical. Formalism served as a protective layer, a conservative framework that concentrated religious authority and knowledge in the hands of the educated and credentialed. Within this system, personal faith was constrained by rules and traditions, and the free expression of ecstatic emotion was not only discouraged but often considered inappropriate or disruptive. By contrast, the American frontier, stretching across Ohio, Kentucky, and Tennessee, offered a completely different spiritual landscape. Here, on open fields beneath the expansive sky, religious gatherings flourished in a way that was raw, immediate, and intensely physical. Freed from the constraints of architectural sanctuaries and rigid liturgy, individuals of all social standings, rich or poor, educated or unlettered, stood together on equal footing. Emotion took precedence over theory. Crying, shouting, bodily convulsions, and ecstatic physical movements were interpreted as genuine manifestations of the presence of God. This seeming disorder was, paradoxically, a form of spiritual order, where personal, direct experience was valued over hierarchical mediation. Worship became an embodied event. Theological concepts of sin, salvation, and divine encounter were no longer abstract ideas, but lived experiences, visible and tangible before the eyes of all present. The Cane Ridge Revival, which took place in Kentucky in 1801, stands as the most striking and emblematic example of this movement. Thousands of people traveled from surrounding regions to participate in a multi-day religious gathering where spiritual expression transcended conventional theological explanation. Attendees experienced extreme physical and emotional states, crying, shouting, rolling on the ground, fainting, and what contemporaries described as jerking or convulsions. These displays, which modern observers might interpret as chaos, were understood by participants as a direct, embodied encounter with the divine, a tangible connection between soul, body, and spirit in the act of worship. The power of Cane Ridge lay not only in the visible intensity of these physical expressions, but also in its broader social and religious implications. It marked a clear liberation from traditional religious hierarchies. Previously, religious authority and spiritual guidance were concentrated in the hands of academically trained ministers, who controlled access to salvation through knowledge and ritual. Cane Ridge reversed this dynamic. Spiritual authority became more democratized, and salvation could be experienced individually and directly. Emotional engagement took precedence over intellectual understanding, demonstrating that religious life need not be constrained by rigid institutional structures. Instead, it could be vibrant, personal, and deeply immersive. Moreover, the Cane Ridge phenomenon planted the seeds for far-reaching cultural changes. It proved that emotional experience could serve as a powerful social force. the freedom of spiritual expression at the individual level began to ripple outward, forming communities based on shared faith and feeling rather than rank or formal education. Cane Ridge was not merely a religious event. It was a symbol of an emotional revolution, a pioneering fire igniting the American imagination with the possibilities of personal spiritual liberty. The contrast between the formal, ordered pews of colonial churches and the unrestrained, open-air gatherings of the frontier could not have been starker. On one side stood structure, conformity, and centralized authority. On the other, vitality, emotional intensity, and direct access to the divine. Cane Ridge also foreshadowed subsequent religious and social developments by placing spiritual experience in the hands of the individual. It paved the way for itinerant preachers, revival circuits, and religious communities that operated outside traditional hierarchies. It demonstrated that belief need not be contained in books or prescribed rituals. It could be lived, felt, and physically manifested in ways that were simultaneously chaotic, transformative, and deeply liberating. The revival revealed that the human body itself could become a vessel of divine interaction, turning faith into a physical as well as a spiritual reality. In many ways, Cane Ridge can be seen as the frontier laboratory for an emergent American spirituality that was both egalitarian and deeply experiential. It challenged existing hierarchies, foregrounded emotion over intellect, and allowed ordinary people to experience the sacred directly on their own terms. This democratization of religious experience was revolutionary. It shifted spiritual authorities from the few to the many, from the scholar to the common person, and it laid the groundwork for a uniquely American approach to faith, one that celebrated personal encounter, emotional intensity, and the power of collective religious experience in open, uncontrolled spaces. Ultimately, Cane Ridge exemplifies a critical moment in the evolution of American religion, a point where the restrictive, cerebral formalism of the colonial church collided with the raw, democratic energy of frontier revivalism. It demonstrated that religious experience could be immediate, embodied, and transformative, that salvation could be felt as well as understood, and that the human spirit was capable of extraordinary expression when freed from hierarchical constraints. This moment was more than a spiritual awakening. It was a cultural catalyst, igniting a movement that would reshape American faith, community, and society for generations to come. As the fervor of revivalism swept across the American frontier, the very landscape itself began to shape spiritual experience in ways that had profound social and theological consequences. Life on the frontier was defined by openness, unpredictability, and a lack of rigid structure. Settlers were often isolated, far from established towns, churches, and educational institutions. In these conditions, traditional hierarchies, both religious and social, were difficult to maintain. Ministers could not rely on institutional authority alone. Congregants could not be managed through formality or credentialing. The frontier environment, with its vast fields and makeshift meeting grounds, created a rare kind of equality. Every participant, regardless of social class, educational background, or prior religious training, could approach the divine on their own terms. There were no pews enforcing rigid order, no degrees granting exclusive authority, and no sacred spaces dictating the correct way to worship. the wilderness became a spiritual leveling ground, and in this egalitarian context, the emphasis shifted from doctrinal correctness to personal, immediate experience of God. This shift had significant implications. Spiritual experience was no longer mediated exclusively by clergy. It became intensely personal and direct. A farmer, a laborer, or a tradesperson could experience the same spiritual ecstasy as an educated minister. Conversion, awakening, and emotional expression were no longer controlled by hierarchical structures but emerged organically from the encounter between the individual and the divine. In this sense, the frontier served as both stage and laboratory for a democratized spirituality, where faith was felt in the heart and bodies, rather than measured by credentials or social standing. Individuals were no longer passive recipients of religious authority. They became active participants in shaping their own spiritual destiny. The consequences of this democratization extended beyond purely religious life. As individuals claimed more direct access to spiritual power, they also began to rethink their agency in the social and political spheres. The frontier nurtured a mentality in which personal empowerment was paramount. If one could engage God directly, without intermediaries, why not assert autonomy in one's own life, community, and decisions? The spiritual upheaval of revival meetings mirrored a broader transformation in American consciousness. The experience of intense personal religious awakening encouraged settlers to perceive themselves as agents of their own fate, capable of shaping not only their moral lives but also the society in which they live. The chaotic, unstructured spaces of frontier worship became a crucible in which the principles of personal liberty, egalitarianism, and empowerment were tested and internalized. In tandem with these shifts, the very structure of religious authority underwent dramatic change. Clergy, once the sole interpreters of divine will, found their exclusive power diminished. The locus of spiritual authority moved from the pulpit to the individual. Salvation was no longer a predestined outcome granted or withheld by hierarchical intermediaries. It became a choice, accessible through personal engagement and conviction. The revivalist ethos emphasized that every individual could seek, encounter, and respond to the divine, transforming religious practice from a top-down imposition into a participatory, democratic experience. This democratization of the divine found tangible expression in the rise of itinerant preachers, often unordained, who traveled from settlement to settlement, bringing revival to those who might never have access to formal churches. These preachers spoke in the language of the people, employing familiar metaphors and practical examples rather than the abstract theological jargon of Latin and Greek texts. Their approach was deeply relational. They met their congregants at the level of everyday experience, interpreting scripture and spiritual truths through stories and imagery that resonated with the lives of ordinary settlers. In doing so, they blurred the lines between clergy and laity, teacher and student, authority and participant, making spiritual insight and guidance so widely accessible. The phenomenon of itinerant preaching also had profound political resonance. It reflected and reinforced ideas emerging in early 19th century America, particularly those associated with Jacksonian democracy. The belief in the power of the common individual, the rejection of entrenched elites, and the promotion of self-reliance and personal responsibility. Just as citizens were encouraged to assert their political voice and engage in the democratic process. They were also encouraged to claim spiritual authority in their own lives. Religious and political democratization became intertwined, each reinforcing the other, as individuals began to see their capacity for agency as both moral and civic. Perhaps most strikingly, the democratization of the divine on the frontier set the stage for the transformation of individual spiritual awakening into social and cultural movements. The ecstatic experiences of revival meetings were not confined to personal or private expression. They radiated outward, producing tangible social effects. Converts, often energized by the immediacy of their encounters with God, became active participants in their communities, advocating for moral reform, forming religious societies, and influencing local norms. The emotional intensity of personal revival catalyzed collective action. What began as an inward spiritual transformation soon manifested in outward societal change. The frontier thus served as both incubator and amplifier, allowing the spiritual revolution of individuals to cascade into broader movements that reshaped social relations and collective values. In sum, the frontier experience dissolved the traditional hierarchies that had governed religious life, placing power and authority in the hands of the individual, while simultaneously democratizing access to spiritual experience. It nurtured ignorant preachers who spoke in the language of the people, bypassed formal structures, and reinforced ideals of personal agency and self-reliance. These transformations were not confined to the spiritual realm. They mirrored and reinforced the political and cultural ethos of early 19th century America, where individual empowerment and democratic participation were increasingly celebrated. Through the fusion of personal awakening and communal engagement, the frontier created a uniquely American model of religious life, one in which the sacred was deeply personal yet socially potent, where faith was as much an embodied experience as a cognitive belief, and where the individual was both the recipient and agent of divine power. This interplay between personal experience, democratized authority, and societal influence illustrates a central dynamic of the Second Great Awakening: the shift from hierarchical control to individual empowerment, and the movement from inner transformation to outward social impact. It is a narrative of liberation, one in which the frontier not only redefined spiritual practice, but also reshaped American notions of selfhood, agency, and community, establishing a foundation for the explosive religious and social movements that would follow. The emotional intensity cultivated on the frontier did not remain confined to the private or communal spiritual sphere. It erupted into social activism, transforming personal awakening into a powerful engine for ethical reform. The fervor ignited at revival meetings created a moral heat that could not be contained within the individual. It spilled outward, motivating people to challenge social injustices and to imagine a society more aligned with divine principles. The same intensity that inspired convulsions and ecstatic cries also impelled settlers to address the pressing moral dilemmas of their time. Movements such as the Campaign to Abolish Slavery and the Temperance Crusade emerged from this wellspring of inner conviction. The religious awakening became inseparable from social conscience. To be spiritually awake was to be morally compelled to act. Converts, invigorated by their experiences of immediate divine presence, felt a personal responsibility not only for their own souls, but also for the moral condition of their communities, and by extension, the nation itself. Urban centers, most notably New York City, became laboratories for this new convergence of spiritual revival and social reform. In the so-called burned-over district, neighborhoods were repeatedly consumed by waves of revivalism, giving rise to innovative religious sects, utopian communities, and reformist societies. These areas were experimental grounds for religious progressivism, where radical interpretations of scripture were coupled with ambitious social agendas. Here, faith and activism were intertwined, spiritual zeal translated into organized efforts to reshape society. Women and marginalized groups, long excluded from the pulpit and formal decision-making, found voices through prayer meetings, reform associations, and moral societies. The revivalist ethos thus became a conduit for expanding participation in both spiritual and civic life, allowing previously silenced voices to influence moral discourse and communal action. As these revivalist movements matured, they evolved from spontaneous, emotionally charged gatherings into more systematic operations capable of being replicated and studied. What began as individual or communal outbursts of fervor became a structured methodology for spiritual renewal. Techniques were observed, refined, and disseminated, creating a science of revival that could predictably evoke emotional and spiritual responses. This transformation marked a critical evolution in American religious culture. Spiritual awakening was no longer merely organic and chaotic. It could be engineered, scaled, and sustained. The interplay between emotional spontaneity and procedural control provided a blueprint for the modern, strategic management of religious experience. Central to this transformation was Charles Grandison Finney, whose innovations elevated revivalism to a level of methodological sophistication previously unseen. Finney introduced what he called the New Measures, a set of deliberate strategies designed to maximize the efficacy of revival meetings. One of his most famous innovations was the Anxious Bench, a reserved seat where individuals wrestling with spiritual doubt were encouraged to sit openly in the presence of the congregation, facing public attention and the communal expectation of conversion. This and other techniques leveraged both psychological insight and social dynamics to intensify personal commitment and collective momentum. Finney meticulously orchestrated the structure of revivals, combining moral exhortation, emotional appeal, and careful attention to timing, all in service of producing measurable spiritual outcomes. Finney's methods bear a striking resemblance to contemporary approaches in technology-driven engagement, particularly the predictive algorithms and interactive feedback systems that define modern artificial intelligence. Just as Finney sought to anticipate and amplify emotional responses, today's AI algorithms can analyze behavioral data, predict user reactions, and strategically guide interactions to elicit desired outcomes. In 2026, this parallel becomes even more pronounced. AI-driven engagement in religious or spiritual contexts can simulate or even enhance the psychological dynamics that Finney identified through observation and experimentation. The pulpit becomes a platform not merely for preaching, but for interaction, optimization, and algorithmically informed influence, echoing Finney's ambition to systematize the unpredictable energies of human devotion. Finney also presaged the strategic shift from passive expectation to active agency in spiritual practice. Traditional revivalism, like earlier forms of faith, often emphasized waiting for divine intervention or responding to providential signs. Finney's approach, by contrast, emphasized deliberate action, arranging environments, guiding emotional attention, and deploying social mechanisms to provoke spiritual awakening. Similarly, in the digital age, faith-based campaigns can be designed and executed with precision, leveraging data analytics, targeted messaging, and psychological triggers to effect large-scale change in belief and behavior. The continuity is striking. The principles of human motivation and emotional response identified by Finney remain foundational, now amplified by technology on a global scale. The legacy of Finney's innovations extends far beyond the boundaries of 19th century America. His systematic approach to revival has influenced religious organization, outreach, and strategy worldwide, shaping the architecture of modern spiritual engagement. The interplay of psychology, social dynamics, and structured intervention pioneered by Finney forms the template for contemporary spiritual movements, from charismatic megachurches to online ministry platforms. What was once a frontier experiment in emotional democratization has evolved into a global phenomenon, where the insights of a single revivalist inform strategies that reach millions through both physical gatherings and digital networks. The echoes of the anxious bench and methodical revival design resonate in contemporary practices that harness algorithmic intelligence to catalyze belief, engagement, and action. In essence, the frontier spirit that dissolved hierarchies and democratized religious experience matured into a deliberate science under Finney, transforming personal fervor into a reproducible method capable of shaping communities and movements. The raw energy of emotional awakening became codified, its mechanisms analyzed, replicated, and extended into new technological contexts. From the burned-over districts of New York to the digital networks of the 21st century, the principles Finney articulated continue to underpin the relationship between personal conviction, collective experience, and systemic influence. Through his methods, the personal and unpredictable energy of revival was harnessed, amplified, and projected into society at large, creating a model of religious and social engagement that is as analytical as it is fervent, as systematic as it is passionate, a precursor, in many ways, to the algorithmically guided spirituality emerging today. The spiritual fervor that erupted on the American frontier did not remain confined to the borders of the United States. What began as ecstatic experiences in the wilderness, crying, convulsions, impassioned preaching, and the democratization of divine authority, soon reverberated across continents, inspiring a wave of religious revival and renewal that would reshape the global spiritual landscape. The lessons of the frontier, particularly the transformative experiences of Cane Ridge, can be traced through the explosive growth of the Pentecostal movement in the early 20th century and later through charismatic and special grace movements worldwide. These international expressions of faith share a common thread, an emphasis on direct, experiential connection with the divine, unmediated by rigid institutional structures, echoing the frontier's emphasis on personal encounter over formalism. The energy that once surged through open-air revivals in Kentucky found its analog in stadiums, urban megachurches, and international gatherings where believers sought immediacy, authenticity, and transformative encounters. The spread of these movements highlights a profound tension between traditional religious structures and modern forms of spiritual engagement. Across the globe, organized religion has often emphasized hierarchy, doctrine, and ritual, with spiritual authority concentrated in clerical offices and ecclesiastical systems. In contrast, the movements emerging from frontier-inspired revivalism prioritize personal experience, emotional immediacy, and the subjective perception of divine encounter. In the digital age, this tension is amplified. Contemporary believers increasingly turn to online platforms, mobile apps, and interactive digital experiences that prioritize spiritual experience over institutional affiliation. The focus has shifted from religion, in its conventional sense, to spirituality understood as personal connection, growth, and transformation. Traditional authority is challenged by a participatory, decentralized model in which individual experience is paramount. The frontier's lessons, egalitarianism, direct engagement, and personal responsibility in faith resonate profoundly with 21st century seekers navigating the global digital landscape. Central to this evolution is the enduring role of the individual in spiritual life. The Second Great Awakening placed personal experience at the center of religious practice, emphasizing that salvation and divine engagement were matters of choice, perception, and personal accountability. This focus on the individual remains a dominant feature in contemporary global spirituality, particularly in digital and online contexts where personal exploration, emotional feedback, and self-directed spiritual practices are emphasized. The A at the center of faith, which the Frontier Revival so vividly celebrated, has become the lens through which millions interpret religious experience today. Whether participating in a local prayer circle, an international online community, or a digitally mediated spiritual retreat, the primacy of the individual echoes the same frontier ethos that once reshaped Kentucky, Ohio, and Tennessee. Spiritual authority is decentralized, immediate, and deeply personal. Yet the legacy of these movements extends beyond individual empowerment. It encompasses the systematic techniques developed during the American revivals, particularly those codified by Charles Finney. The methodologies that Finney pioneered, the anxious bench, structured emotional appeals, and methodical orchestration of revival experiences, can be seen as early prototypes of what we now understand as algorithmic engagement. In a world where data, digital interfaces, and artificial intelligence shape interaction, Finney's principles are remarkably prescient. Understanding human response, predicting engagement, and facilitating transformation are central both to his revival techniques and to modern platforms that guide spiritual and emotional experience. Today, online ministry tools, apps for guided meditation, interactive scripture engagement, and AI-driven personalized content echo Finney's vision of systematic, reproducible spiritual transformation. The soul architecture he pioneered has evolved into a sophisticated, algorithmically informed spirituality that blends emotional immediacy, data-driven insight, and personal empowerment. In tracing this arc, we can see a remarkable continuity from frontier revival to global digital spirituality. Cane Ridge and the early American revivals ignited personal, ecstatic experiences that challenge hierarchical authority. Social movements and moral reform, including abolitionism and temperance, translated this spiritual energy into tangible societal change. Finney's innovations formalized these experiences into repeatable methods, setting the stage for strategic spiritual influence. And into the contemporary era, the digital and algorithmic amplification of these principles has created a personalized, globally interconnected spiritual landscape in which emotional engagement, individual choice, and systematic methodology coexist. What was once a raw, chaotic expression of frontier faith has become a highly structured, data-informed, and globally scalable form of spiritual engagement. Yet it retains the core principle. The individual remains at the center, empowered to experience, interpret, and act upon the divine. Ultimately, the story from Caney Ridge to contemporary digital spirituality illustrates how personal religious experience, social action, and methodological innovation converge to shape culture on a global scale. Finney's architecture of the soul not only guided revival in 19th century America, but also laid the foundation for the algorithmically guided, emotionally responsive spirituality that defines the modern world. The frontier's wildfire, the passionate, egalitarian, and democratized energy of revival resonates through time and across geography, reminding us that spiritual engagement is both profoundly personal and potentially transformative at the societal level. In the 21st century, this legacy continues to unfold in digital megachurches, global prayer networks, and personalized AI-driven spiritual guidance, where the principles of emotional immediacy, personal agency, and systematic engagement remain central. As we reflect on this journey from Caney Ridge and the wilderness of early America through social reform and Finney's methodological innovations to the global, algorithmically mediated spirituality of today, it becomes clear that the seeds planted on the frontier have grown into a complex, interconnected ecosystem of belief, emotion, and action. Individual experience remains at the heart, yet it is amplified, structured, and transmitted in ways that Finney could only have imagined. His pioneering work has shaped a spiritual architecture that is personal, measurable, and technologically enhanced, allowing faith to be experienced, optimized, and shared on a scale unimaginable in his own era. If this exploration of revival, moral reform, and the evolution of personal and algorithmic spirituality resonates with you, make sure to subscribe to the channel and follow for more insights into the intersections of history, faith, and modern technology. By staying connected, you can continue tracing the threads from historical awakenings to contemporary practices, exploring how centuries of spiritual innovation influence the way we live, believe, and engage in the world today.